Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Abundance Street podcast. I just had a spurge of energy just then, so
Energy is good.
it kind of just went through me. So I'm
Did it?
yeah, I'm Janice Luke, and I'm here with my co-host.
April Capri.
Hey, April. Yeah, as I was coming into the introduction, it just kind of went jolted me. I was like, Abundance Street podcast, you know? So I got a surge of energy there. So
Girl, that's awesome. I'm getting a surge of this air conditioning. It's hot.
oh, there, girl, are you cooled off yet?
No, I'm not.
No.
Hot. Still hot. So I got this air conditioner. It's like this weird, well, you need the heat in the morning and the air conditioner at night.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
the weird transition
It's still
period.
kind of yeah, doesn't know
It's
what it
not all
wants
the way
yet.
there yet. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you look lovely as always, so
Thank you, you
so
too, of
thank you,
course.
girl. Thank you. So we have a neat guest tonight. So who do we have?
We really do. We have the CEO and co-founder of Start a Network. He has a lifelong passion for martial arts and self-employment and has leveraged his experience to become a leader in professional networking and community building. Over his impressive career, he has explored various industries, including resume services, real estate, and now professional networking. With over 45 years of marriage and 4 children, he brings a wealth of wisdom and experience to his endeavors. With his latest venture, Start a Network, it aims to revolutionize
You got it.
the networking experience by merging in-person and social media networking. With the upcoming launch of Starter Network's platform, he continues to be at the forefront of innovation in the industry. We have Bill Mueller, and I will never let that word revolutionize beat me up like that again, period. Sue me up.
You got it, girl.
Yeah, I won, didn't I?
You got Bill.
Tried to
All
get me
right.
at first.
We
Hi,
and
Bill.
hey, Bill.
How are
And we
ya?
good. How are
Oh,
you?
well, there you are. Good to see you.
Doing great, thank you.
Awesome.
Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on with us. So we're excited to hear about your story. What can you tell us? What's about you? Tell us about you.
Well, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I knew from the time I was a child that I wanted to be self-employed, and I've always tried to figure out why that is. Is it because you know, don't want to take orders from someone else, or what is it about me that just, I constantly am creating things in my mind, and but when I was young, got started in the martial arts, and I saw the relationship my teacher had with his son, and he would, bring him there and stuff. And I always thought that's what I want to do for my life. And I did that, but there's something about me that's a serial entrepreneur. So I am still stuck with the martial arts for over 60 years, but I still love starting businesses. So it's just in my DNA.
Wow, that's impressive. I can definitely relate to the creativity juices flowing in the head because sometimes I feel like I can't turn mine off, ideas be popping up, but that's amazing. So,
It
It's hard
is.
when they come to you at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's the
yes, I know
problem.
about that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
gift. It's a
Yeah.
gift.
right.
Yeah.
So are you currently still doing martial arts? Like, are you like teaching it or are you just doing it like I
I teach just a handful of students. I actually just got back from Okinawa about 2 weeks ago to
oh,
see
okay.
my teacher. I started with him about 50 years ago in Okinawa,
Wow.
and he's going to be 98 in June, and this year is kind of our 50th year of,
Wow.
friendship, and he's now in a nursing home though. So it was kind of hard to see him with a walker because he's always been just such a, you know, pillar of strength, and just health, I guess I should say. So
Dang.
Wow, that's
That is,
amazing to have that relationship for so long.
that
Such a
is amazing.
blessing. Such a
it
blessing.
Yeah.
is. He's just an awesome guy, and I just was real blessed that I ended up with him, man, because he's kind of like a fatherly figure, and just a really nice man. and good morals, good ethics, everything. I couldn't follow him if he didn't,
Yeah, absolutely.
God bless him.
Right. So through your martial arts and everything, and now you said you're a serial entrepreneur. So tell us more about like your businesses. Did you like have several businesses at one time, or are you currently working on one thing, or tell us about your business journey?
Okay, well, while I was doing the martial arts, I had my own karate school, and I started doing recruiting, and from there, it just kind of blossomed into all these people were coming to me and they didn't have a decent resume. I didn't want to do anything with resumes, but I was hoping my wife did. So I went out and bought a laser printer, and I was the only one in Dallas Fort Worth that had a laser printer at that time. And so people were coming from miles to have theirs laser printed. Next thing you know, I had 8 resume stores. So I had a chain of them. Then I got into the employment industry, the recruiting part. Actually had the first resume database that employers would search through of any that I know. I don't think anybody else had one before me because it was pre-internet. I actually had a database in my home that they'd call into, so I'd hear the modems going all night, And then I got to be one of the pioneers in the job fair industry, and I opened American career fairs and did career fairs in just about every major city in the United States, and loved that. But it was so much traveling, and it was so much. It was just a lot of work, and so had the opportunity from there to get into real estate, and have really enjoyed the real estate. But through real estate, I really got into networking, and I wished I had prior to that. So I've been networking really hard for the last 10 years, and that's really what we've decided to. I got a business partner that I met through a networking group, and we've created a software to help basically network owners, facilitators, managers run their own networking group and monetize it if they want. Somebody could make a very handsome living just doing networking groups. So it's another avenue, but most people use it to support their current career, to get referrals. It's probably the best way I know of to get referrals is professional business networking, because you don't get a one-time referral. You don't get a cold lead. These are people you've become friends with and close to. And so what we tried to do is we tried to merge in-person networking and social media, and also provide a way for them to communicate in between meetings. My group happens to meet weekly, but still, we on our software that we made, we have an activity feed, which is kind of like a Facebook feed. We have messaging app in there where you can message individuals or groups. If you got a small little niche group, like oftentimes realtors and mortgage lenders and inspectors and stuff break out and do their own thing. So they form their own little group within the group. And so we've found a way to really make those things mesh and get people communicating all the time rather than just on the days that we happen to meet. And some networking groups only meet monthly or quarterly. We even meet once a week, but we've become so close that we wanted a better avenue. And through this app, we can also share each other's leads. Very easy. We just hit the share button and boom, we've got an ad for them on Facebook. It's one thing, I guess, to at your networking group to, thank the person. Hey, thank you to this roofer who just did my roof. I really appreciate it. He did a great job. But now if I take that, instead of just talking to the 20 people, 30 people, whatever is in a group, and I post that on social media, and so do the other 20 people, now we have the chance of touching thousands of people just by meshing the social media and the in-person networking.
Wow, that's
Wow.
great.
That's really powerful. Janice and I met in a mentorship, and so we really value the power of being in the rooms, being around like-minded people, And also, like you said, it's a powerful marketing tool because word of mouth referrals and business connections can take you a lot further than some of these, just generic ads that you kind of see. Like those work, but I think there's a quality in just the direct marketing and relationship building with the networking. Totally. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
that is
agree with
awesome.
you 100%. I mean, if you can work with people you know, love and trust,
Yeah.
you've just got a big head start on other people. And I would encourage every sales manager that's out there to not only get their people in a networking group, but get them to start a networking group, because the leader has authority and they get to pick the time, the location, where it's going to happen, the format, the culture of the group, everything. So there's a huge advantage for them out there.
Definitely.
I know that how networking is can be very powerful because I'm a teacher currently, but I was able to start my own business doing something related to what my field is, but actually contracting my services out with through the Texas Workforce Solution. So just by networking and learning, from what I do already at my job. So it's very powerful. You just never know it's actually causing me to have my own business based on what I already do. So it is very powerful. I think it's really great. Can you get more specific on like just say like you get a networking group together? Like what I'm sure it's like different topics, different. It could be like you mentioned like the roofer, but can you get more specific as far as what is discussed in your meetings? Maybe when you do get a group together, different categories of groups. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
how that looks. Can you get more specific on that?
Sure. There's so many kinds of networking groups out there. There's social networking groups, there's professional networking groups, there's ones that charge you, there's ones that are free. There's combination of social and professional networking groups. There's industry specific groups, some even professional groups. They allow as many people from any industry as possible, but the one I have is an industry specific. So we'll have one person or profession specific. So we'll only have one realtor in that group. So they're not competing against other realtors in the same
I
group.
love
I
that.
have no problem with that, but at the same time, uh, especially if you're paying to get into the group, you don't want to have to compete with your fellow members. So there's just a million ways to go about it. I've written an ebook on that. And so anybody that goes to startanetwork.com, they can download that for free. Because I think that's a really good question, because a lot of people think about it. I use realtors, for example. The only way you can really give yourself a raise in real estate is sell more properties, sell higher price properties. That's the other way, or cut your costs. So the easiest way is to sell higher price properties. So what I would do is I would put a networking group in a little more affluent area if I wanted to give myself a raise, sell a little more expensive houses. And so as a networking owner, I could put one in, 2, 3 different locations where I feel like the clientele is the type of clientele that's going to enhance my career.
And the clientele meaning like the customers that are going to purchase your homes and with the realtor as the lead. Is that what you're?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And, it's, again, you get to, as the owner, you get to choose the nucleus or your founding members of the group too, which I think is really important, because you want to have like-mindedness. You want to have a culture that you all want. Some networking groups are really strict. You can't miss a time, or you can only miss 3 times or whatever. Others are a lot less formal. Ours is kind of in the middle of that. We like to have a lot of fun. So we take a little segment at the beginning and play an SNL skit or something just to break the ice and, get people in a good mood. We're meeting early in the morning. Our meeting's 8 o'clock. And it just breaks the ice, and we like to have a lot of fun. So we don't put the timer on. Someone says, you got 30 seconds and that's it for your elevator pitch. we give and take, and one day someone may go a little longer, another day somebody else might go a little longer, but everybody loves each other. It just makes for a good makeup that way.
So,
That sounds really cool. So with Start a Network would explain your website to me in the program. Like if I was to go on there, somebody was to go on there, would they be the group leader or are they joining a group?
Well, they can do either one from there.
Okay.
So if they want to start their own group, then they hit, create a group. And so, and there's different prices even at that. They can create a group without a public facing, well, they have a public facing website that goes with this, but the individuals have profiles and those profiles get seen on the internet as well. So if somebody wants a private group where they really don't care about exposure for the group, maybe it's a card club, it's a prayer group or whatever, and they're not really wanting to advertise themselves as a business, they might choose that. Otherwise, we do it where they have a public facing website where their content will get picked up by the search engines. The other thing that they get on there is we have what we call spotlight articles. They can write articles as many as they want. Those get picked up by SEO and they're written with the assistance of AI, but not just putting in a sentence. AI actually asks you the questions. It'll ask you 6 questions. It'll throw the article together, and then you have the opportunity to proof it and make it your own. So it's not just something that AI did.
That's really unique because the other networking sites that I'm familiar with that you can kind of join groups and start groups, they don't have that. All the information is contained within that platform. So there is no SEO. That's a major differential that you have. I like that.
Well, and we take those profiles and we share them out to the public. So instead of just
Right.
sharing their contact information, they click that link and they go back to that site in the profile. So that's our way of, I feel like, giving back to the members of the group. They're supporting you and this gives them a lot of extra exposure because the other people want to help. Every member wants to help each other out. That's what we're there for. So that's really what we tried to do in making an app, because you don't have to have an app to run a networking group, but this just brings it to a whole nother level.
I
wow,
love
that's so
it.
powerful. That's powerful. I think we've coined the term from our mentorship, April, strategic partnerships, maybe. I don't know if it's considered the same or similar, but it is
Yeah.
powerful, to have people that are working with you and encouraging you and bouncing ideas off of and whatnot. And, who knows who can help you with this task or whatever, whatever the subject matter is for the networking group. So, and I imagine it's just it's all kinds of anything, right? So whatever
Yeah.
group that you want to start.
The funny thing about that is when you say, bounce things off people, I have a home inspector in the group. And I've known him for years. I met him through Christian networking, and he's one of the first people I asked to be in my group. I never knew that he had such expertise. He worked 15 years in the high-tech industry as a project manager. So he's my business partner now. And getting into the group, he was my home inspector. I never had any idea. And he is not just he's just exceptional. I've never seen anybody that can multitask like him, except for maybe my son-in-law and my daughter are pretty close seconds anyways. So
Awesome.
Awesome.
Multitasking is definitely a skill.
Yes, it is. I find myself doing that all the time. So,
Mhm.
I think
but
as you get older, it gets tougher because I notice it's getting tougher for me. So
Is that what it is? Because it's man, I
right.
feel like it used to be a lot easier for me too, but it's like you feel it more and more and more. It's either that or sometimes maybe I feel like it's your perception. Maybe the tasks become more important, or
yeah.
they're kind of more serious. Like I didn't have too much serious stuff going on when I was younger, but it
Right.
seemed like I was
Well,
doing a lot.
and that's true. And now I've got a dozen grandkids along with my 4 kids, and there's a lot of other places I want to be spending my time. So I'm trying to shut off some of those ideas in my head. So uh,
You got
it
this. And you got a whole group supporting you. And I think that's a great thing about the groups too, is that it gives you motivation. It's therapeutic, you know what I mean? You don't have to feel like you're doing this alone. Cause you know, as a born entrepreneur, everybody doesn't have that same mindset. And it's not easy talking to people about the things that are in your head unless, you know, you're around people that can resonate and understand. So I think you're in a great space.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, that's good
so-
advice. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have a website, and then did you say you have an app as well, or is it just the
Yeah,
website?
it's a platform and app. It's simply startanetwork.com. So it's pretty easy to remember. And then when people join, there's an app that just makes it easy to, there's actually more things you can do on the app because we have the messaging you could do from your desktop, the activity feed you could do from your desktop. But as far as sharing contacts, it's actually easier to do from your mobile device because they can hit someone's QR code. If they just want to get the contact, they can share it on messaging. They can share it on our messaging. They can share it on the activity feed. And the activities feed's nice because with Start a Network, you might join eventually 5, 6 different groups. All you do is push a button to switch between the groups. And your activity group feed you right now is group specific. So if you're in 6 different groups, it would show up for those groups. But we're going to make it where it's available because some people aren't going to want to, that they're going to be able to toggle it on or off if they want to share it with all the groups. So, you know, we're constantly enhancing this. It seems like we're adding updates to it almost daily. And it's an exciting time. It really is. I've never been in a business where I've done a lot of businesses, as you see, but I don't think I've ever been in one where I've had such a sharp business partner or somebody that knew how to get things done. And so I feel very blessed for that.
That's awesome. And did he also do your, like you said, he was skilled in technology? Is he the one who designed the app and everything, or did you have
He
to get?
is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Now we have an outside programmer working with us now, but he kind of outlined the vision for where we want it technology-wise. I was kind of the marketing sales person and person that had the idea because I already had the group. But he's been able to take my idea and add a lot of wisdom to it. And because he's so current on technology, I would have never touched AI without him. We have AI does almost all of our training, and it's just amazing. You can't hardly tell they're not real people, and they do the training and go through every bit of how to set up your website, how to, make changes, how just about everything they could want to know about the site, where you've got tutorials and we've got examples that are driven by AI.
So
Yeah,
awesome.
that's awesome.
Congratulations.
Well,
How long
thank
have
you.
you guys been in existence?
We started this a year and a half ago.
Congratulations.
Yeah, getting pretty close to 2 years, but we didn't really launch it until February of this year. So we did a lot of testing and things like that on it. So it wasn't something that we just threw together and put on the market. The nice thing is I didn't know what I was getting into. If I'd have known at the time that it was going to take 2 years to get it to market, I'm probably too impatient and wouldn't have done it, but it's been a blessing. So, a lot of times the things that are important, you have no idea how long they're going to take. You always seem to guess that it's going to happen faster.
It's so true.
Right.
Yeah,
It can be frustrating too, because you see the vision, you can kind of see the end product. Where's my hand? There it is. You can see the vision,
yeah.
You see the end product down the road, and where you want it to be, and then getting to that point is the process that you got to be patient with, and so a lot of people want the instant gratification, but
Yes.
it could take longer than what you expected and everything. So don't get frustrated, and stay the course and stuff like that. So, so
Right.
that's
Yeah.
great. Congratulations on your accomplishment there.
And the
So,
longer you do it, the more things that you start thinking about. Oh, what if we added this to it? What if we added this to it? So I don't need other businesses. I've got enough things I can do with this. There's so many uses to this. It wouldn't take a lot to adapt it for Chamber of Commerce's, wouldn't take a lot to adapt it for professional organizations. So there's really no need for me to think up other businesses right now. It's really all the opportunities we have with the product that we have. There's just slight modifications can change it, and it can host really any community. That's really what we're all about, is community. And although networking is where we got our start, it could be a baseball club, it could be a church group, it could be any type of community that there is. So
Well, I will say this because you're the same person that scaled your resume business and your job search business with a printer and
yeah.
turn that into a national career fair and in all the major cities. So I mean, if that was then and this is now, and you have a partner, the sky is the limit for you guys. I really see great things. And you got a great domain name too. Finding startanetwork.com is on point.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
It's
yeah.
And
great that you found that.
we were surprised that it was still available, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that was perfect.
I had a business before called ineedajob.com, and we're going to merge that in with yours. So people that are members are going to be able to put their ad, post their jobs and things like that on there for free. And
Awesome.
and that's been with me for probably 35 years, ineedajob.com. So
Yeah.
uh,
Well, I work
Wow,
with
that's a great
high school
domain.
students and now I help them get jobs. Like, it's part of what I do. So it's like I need to, put them in that direction. But so
yeah,
I can relate to the career fairs and stuff like that because that's kind of part of what I do as well. So, but it's so great how
well,
far
they've
you have.
turned into pretty much online job fairs now,
They have,
or
yeah, they
virtual
have.
job fairs. And I got out of it really before that happened, because COVID really forced that. It was starting to come anyhow, but people preferred to meet in person. But when COVID happened, it really forced that. And COVID really affected the networking industry too. For a while, people weren't meeting in person. Everything was virtual. They were doing their networking meetings by Zoom. And I love that, but I still think there's something that's really special about pounding the flesh and shaking hand and giving hugs to people that you haven't seen for a week or a month or whatever it is. And so I don't think anything will ever totally replace in-person networking. So that's why we're looking to enhance it rather than replace it.
I agree 100%. And I like how you balance the online with the in-person networking as well with your platform because it is needed. You do have to know how to interact with people, not through a computer screen, and feel
Yeah.
people's energy and kind of get a sense for, what's going on and read the room and stuff like that. You kind of need those skills, especially if you're going to be in business for yourself as an entrepreneur. That's really important.
It sure is, yeah. And I got my start in networking, in doing Christian networking. And they told me about a person that was running this big group of 100 people. He's probably the best networker I know on the planet. I mean, he's never seen a person he doesn't know. I've seen him go up to total strangers. A minute later, he's praying with them. I went on a mission trip with them, and everything because of networking. I started networking, got introduced to him, got introduced to another networking group, which was really a men's fellowship that Chad Hennings, who was a former Dallas Cowboy, started. And it was really a men's fellowship. And that's where I met my business partner. So I can follow it and what it's done for my life, back to the beginning. So I think networking can do that for a lot of people.
It can. And I think that people need to kind of come out the house and be social, and it doesn't have to involve a bar, or something that costs a whole lot of money, or you know what I mean. I think
I
that
do.
what you were saying, like just the interacting with people, just genuine interaction is very valuable, and it's rewarding, and it's fun.
Right.
It
Come out the
Absolutely.
is.
house, people. COVID is over.
Right. Get outside. Get outside, y'all.
Go outside.
Yeah. So what has been like, I want to kind of see if you had any setback. What's been like your biggest setback in your whole journey of everything? Or it could be
Mm.
your networking, or it could be any part of your entrepreneurial journey. What's how did you overcome your biggest setback? What was it and how did you overcome it?
Please
You
do tell,
know,
because it's peaks and valleys over here.
Right.
yeah, there's been peaks and valleys all along, even the resume service, my most highly profitable store. I had somebody next door to me start doing the same thing because he saw how well I was doing. And
No, he didn't.
the lease that I had said I could, obviously do resumes, but they had done his lease and they said that his wife could do some secretarial stuff on the side. Well, so then they started doing resumes. They even put pink feet out on the ground saying resumes, pointing at their location. And so they ended up taking a lot of our business away. It was kind of a dirty thing, but that stuff happens, and you just move on from it. And but there's been many things. The other thing was the advent of the internet. I sat and watched my resume services almost go in half within a few months, the volume, because people started using the internet thinking, well, I don't need a fancy resume anymore. I can just throw it in a resume database and the keywords are going to pick it up. So it really doesn't matter how it looks because no one's going to see the way it really looks anyway. And so I couldn't close my stores fast enough. I probably had the highest volume of resume services in the nation because I did mine in a retail environment where most people did them in an office. So one of my stores, 40% of my business came off my sign. You just can't, and at that time I was spending 20,000 a year on Yellow Page advertising for my stores. So of course, Yellow Page advertising has come and gone, and we don't have to do that anymore. But when you can get that amount of your business off of one single source, that's awesome. And it's a one-time
Yeah.
fee. You just can't beat that. But the internet, it's been great to me because I used the technology and gone on. But when it first came on, I saw my business go away
Yeah.
very, very fast. So
Right. I can see
you just
that.
got to
But
be ready to move with technology. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you got to keep up with the times. So it's like you made the pivot and you ran with it and you went with the technology and now you're using AI and everything and you have a technology man on board, So that's
Yeah,
great that you didn't let it defeat you. So that's
that's
awesome.
so
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
it
Thank
flipped.
God
It
I got
took
a
you out, now it's
technology man
putting
on
you
board.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Such a blessing. That's awesome.
Yeah. But I think we all go through a lot of ups and downs. Anybody in business, I think most best business people out there have failed several times. And failing isn't the end of it. It's just, it's a process you're going through and it's a mistake maybe that you made and you learn from it and you go from there, just like anything else in life.
So true.
Absolutely.
What kept you going? Because I know you said entrepreneurial, you've always had an entrepreneurial heart, right? It was
Yeah,
always just in your spirit. What after that happened, and that's a major loss because you had multiple stores.
yeah.
That was like your baby. What made you continue to go the entrepreneur route and not just get a job like, forget it, I might as well just work for the man or whatever, you know what I mean? As some people do.
That's a really good question because my wife would have loved for me to have done that. I know that because it's not easy being the wife of an entrepreneur, especially a serial entrepreneur, because sometimes you don't know where your next check is going to come from. And then, you may get blessed and you may, be doing very, very well. But most people, when they're starting out, they have to wear all the seats. They have to be their own bookkeeper, their own accountant, their own marketer. And so they're working twice the hours that the person is working for the man, you know, I mean, they just are. And if somebody told them they were going to make this amount hourly, they would never go to work for anybody for that money, but they'll do it for themselves because they see what's that carrot at the end of the tunnel. And I guess I don't know why I never lost faith in it, but I guess I never lost faith in myself. And I've always known that God will provide. And that's been a huge
Absolutely.
thing for me too. The other thing I think is I just can't stand the thought of failure, you know, permanent failure. So you just keep going. It's what I did. Would I have been smarter at sometimes to do it the other way? Possibly, because in hindsight, there was things that I did wish that I didn't put my wife through. But you can't look back that way. You got to look positive and forward and say, hey, it's brought me to where I am now, and I'm thankful that I am where I am.
Amen.
Yes,
That was an awesome
absolutely.
answer.
Yes, it was.
Where can
Absolutely.
people find you, Bill?
Anyone can go to startanetwork.com. There's several places there that they can get information, but I'm fine if they email me directly at bill@startanetwork.com. I'm more than happy to take those, and would love for them to go to the site and scroll down toward the bottom and download that free ebook, because I think, you know, before you start your network, it's an important step to really understand all the different ways you could. There's really thousands of ways you could make your network. I mean, just based on, you know, how you're going to monetize it, what type you're going to group you're going to have, what kind of, how strict it's going to be. I mean, there's no end to the different types of networking groups you could have.
Oh, that's so powerful. That's so
Yeah.
wonderful. So we have a couple of minutes left. So you have your chance to give your final words of wisdom to like a starting entrepreneur, whatever words of wisdom you'd like to share with our audience. What would it be?
Well, I think there's a couple things. Number one is don't start looking at people as dollar signs, look at them as people, okay? And
Yeah,
that will help you in all the networking that you do. And every job ultimately requires sales, or every business ultimately requires sales. And I think it was Zig Ziglar that said, sales is not a process you do to somebody, it's a process you do for somebody. And you've got to keep that in mind. You've got to believe that your product is going to help that person, and not just look at it like, well, I need another sale this month. So figure out what their needs are and help them with their needs. Figure out how your product can answer their needs. That was very powerful for me, because I'm going to tell you, if ever you're in business and things get tough, it's hard to keep looking at people as people, not seeing some dollar signs. I'm just being blatantly honest. And so you need to start from the beginning and really caring about people, and that just works its way into networking. I mean, because it's not about who you know, it's not about, you know, it's about them knowing that you care.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
That's a major
absolutely.
gem, Bill. Thank
Yes,
you
it
so
is.
much.
Yeah,
We're
you
thank you
just
so
a
bet.
couple of
much.
seconds out, so we really appreciate you for coming on, and thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you,
If you guys
y'all.
want to see more of Bill, go to the website,
Yes,
startanetwork.com, and get the
Thank you very
absolutely.
much. I appreciate you very much.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.